Prepper channel tells you to buy generators and freeze-dried food. That advice will get you killed. A generator without fuel is furniture. Freeze-dried food without clean water is a bag of powder. When a real crisis hits, Tractor Supply shelves clear in 48 hours. Not random panic buying. A predictable sequence that military logistics doctrine has mapped for decades. There's a $10 product in the livestock aisle that replaces $300 of emergency medical supplies. Most people walk past it every trip. 21 items, exact costs, the order they vanish. After this, you shop like a quartermaster, not a tourist. Item 1, 5-gallon fuel cans. This is Class 3 supply. If you've never heard that term, it's the military designation for petroleum, oils, and lubricants. Class 3 is the single highest volume logistics requirement in any sustained operation. More tonnage moves as fuel than as food, ammunition, or medical supply. That should tell you something about your priorities. Tractor Supply carries fuel cans in gasoline, diesel, and kerosene configurations. Most people grab one red gas can and think they're covered. That's a 3-hour plan disguised as preparation. A standard portable generator burns through 5 gallons in 8 to 12 hours under moderate load. One can, one night. Then you're sitting in the dark with a $2,000 paperweight on your porch. Experienced buyers grab all 3 types: gasoline for generators and vehicles, diesel for trucks and equipment, kerosene for heating and lighting. 3 fuel types means 3 independent supply chains. When one dries up, you still function. Here's what happens in real time. Any crisis announcement, doesn't matter what, grid failure, hurricane warning, supply chain disruption, fuel cans vanish in the first 6 hours, not because everyone's smart, because fuel cans are visible, they're big, they're red. People see other people grabbing them and follow. Herd instinct clears the shelf before logic kicks in. Tractor Supply stocks 3 to 12 units per SKU in a typical store. That's 3 to 12 cans per fuel type. One morning of directed buying clears the entire category. Resupply under normal conditions takes 3 to 5 days. Under crisis conditions, 2 weeks, sometimes longer. You either own fuel cans before the announcement or you don't own them at all. The civilian mistake is buying the generator first. Walk into any big box store right now and you'll see rows of generators on display. Prominent, well lit, marked down. The fuel cans are in a back corner if they're stocked at all. The entire retail layout trains you to buy the machine before the consumable. Military logistics does the opposite. You secure the fuel supply chain first, then you deploy the equipment that depends on it. 4 5-gallon cans, 20 gallons of stored fuel. That's roughly 2 full days of generator runtime. Not generous, but functional. It keeps your refrigerator cold, your phones charged, and your well pump cycling. Without those 4 cans, you've got a single night. And that's if you filled the 1 can you own before the gas stations went dry. Cost: roughly $12 to $18 per can depending on type and capacity. 4 cans runs you $50 to $70. That's less than a tank of gas for most trucks. For that money, you've bought yourself 48 hours of electrical independence. Running total, $50 to $70. I've put together everything you need to know about building logistics like this into a guide. First link in the description. Item 2. Chainsaw fuel mix and bar oil. The consumable nobody stockpiles. Every major wind event proves this pattern. Chainsaws stay on the shelf for days. The 2-cycle fuel mix and bar oil sell out within hours because people who already own chainsaws know what they burn through. People who buy chainsaws in a panic don't. A full day of debris clearing burns a quart of bar oil minimum. More if you're cutting hardwood or making prolonged cuts. 2-cycle mix pouches disappear even faster because they're small, cheap, and people grab handfuls. Tractor Supply stocks these near the outdoor power equipment. Grab 4 to 6 mix pouches and 2 quarts of bar oil. Total cost is under $20. That's 2 to 3 full days of cutting capability. Without it, your chainsaw is a heavy, awkward shelf ornament. Most people assume chainsaw fuel is just gasoline. It's not. 2-cycle engines require a precise oil-to-gas ratio. Run straight gas and you seize the engine in minutes. That's a $400 mistake you can't fix without parts that are also sold out. Running total, $70 to $90. Item 3. Kerosene. Tractor Supply is one of the few retail chains that still sells kerosene by the gallon. This matters more than most people realize. Kerosene is backup heating fuel, lamp fuel, and solvent. It stores safely in approved containers for years. It burns cleanly in rated appliances with minimal carbon monoxide risk compared to gasoline. During winter crises, kerosene vanishes within hours, not because of panic, because the households that depend on it understand there's no retail substitute with the same combination of heating efficiency and indoor safety profile. They're not guessing. They're executing a plan they run every winter. A single kerosene heater burns roughly a gallon per 12 hours on medium output. 5 gallons keeps one heater running for 2.5 days. In a winter grid failure, that's the difference between a cold inconvenience and a frozen pipe catastrophe. Grab 2 5-gallon cans filled. That's roughly $30 to $40 depending on current pricing. 5 days of supplemental heat, 5 days of lamp fuel, 5 days of not freezing. Running total, $100 to $130. Item 4, propane tanks, 20-pound. Most stable commonly available fuel, period. A sealed 20-pound propane tank has unlimited shelf life. Not 5 years. Not 10 years. Unlimited. The fuel doesn't degrade. The tank doesn't expire in any meaningful operational sense. You buy it once and it sits in your garage ready to work until you need it. One 20-pound tank provides 18 to 20 hours of cook time on a standard 2-burner camp stove. That's roughly 6 days of 3 meals each. For one tank. Military field feeding operations use compressed gas for the same reasons you should. Stable, portable, controllable. You can dial a propane burner from simmer to full boil instantly. Try that with a campfire. While most people rush to buy disposable 1-pound cylinders at $3 each, one 20-pound tank holds the equivalent of roughly 20 disposable cylinders. Do the math. $60 in disposables versus $18 to $22 for one refillable tank. And the disposables sell out in the first wave because they're small, visible, and impulse purchases. Buy 2 full tanks, $36 to $44, 12 days of cooking fuel, sitting quietly in your garage, fully stable, ready on 5 seconds notice. Running total, $136 to $174. Item 5, propane adapter hoses and fittings. This is the force multiplier for everything you just bought. A $10 to $15 adapter hose connects a 20-pound tank to any appliance designed for 1-pound disposable cylinders, portable heaters, lanterns, camp stoves, small grills. All of them run off the big tank now. One adapter hose eliminates your dependence on disposable cylinders entirely. Those cylinders vanish in the first purchase wave and cost $3 each for a fraction of the fuel. The adapter pays for itself after replacing 2 disposables. Everything after that is free fuel from your existing supply. Tractor Supply carries these in the outdoor and grilling section. Grab 2, one for your primary setup, one as a spare, because a $5 hose failure shouldn't disable your cooking and heating capability. Running total, $156 to $204. Item 6, blue tarps, heavy-duty grade, 10 by 12 and 20 by 30 sizes. Grab both. A heavy-duty tarp is roofing repair, water collection surface, ground insulation, improvised shelter, and privacy screen. 5 functions, 1 item, under $20. Post-hurricane damage, data consistently shows homes tarped within 24 hours suffer significantly less secondary water damage than those left exposed. The initial wind damage is what it is. The rain that follows for the next 3 to 7 days is what destroys everything inside. A $30 tarp and a box of roofing nails prevent thousands of dollars in water damage. Military field expedient shelter doctrine is built on one principle. A durable waterproof membrane is the most versatile structural material available. Everything else is framework. The membrane is the mission-critical layer. While people line up at hardware stores for plywood and roofing materials, heavy-duty tarps sit in the farm supply section of Tractor Supply because most suburban buyers don't think to look there. One 20 by 30 tarp covers a 2-car garage roof section. 2 of them cover most single-story residential roof exposures. 2 tarps, $25 to $40, 5 functions per tarp. The best dollar per capability ratio on this entire list next to buckets. Running total, $181 to $244. Item 7. Livestock water troughs. Here's where most people's assumptions collapse. A 100-gallon galvanized stock tank at Tractor Supply costs $70 to $90. That's under $1 per gallon of storage capacity. Go online right now and search for emergency water storage. You'll find branded prepper products charging $3 to $5 per gallon of capacity. Same water, same storage, 3 to 5 times the price because someone printed emergency preparedness on the label. A 300-gallon stock trough holds enough drinking water for a family of 4 for over a month at military planning rates of 1 gallon per person per day for drinking and basic sanitation. These don't require special treatment. Fill from your garden hose before a crisis. Add appropriate purification. Cover with a tarp from item 6. You now have a water reserve that most dedicated preppers spend $500 or more to achieve with branded products. The multi-function value goes beyond storage. Stock tanks serve as wash basins, ice baths for perishable food preservation, mixing vessels for large batches of purification solution, and emergency bathing. 5 uses from one purchase. While the prepper industry sells you sleek collapsible bladders with proprietary fittings, ranchers have stored water in galvanized steel for 100 years. It works. It doesn't puncture. It doesn't collapse. It doesn't need a YouTube tutorial to set up. 100-gallon tank, $70 to $90, under $1 per gallon. Over 30 days of drinking water for a family of 4. Running total, $251 to $334. Now, stop. February 2021, Texas. The entire ERCOT grid failed during a winter storm that dropped temperatures into single digits across a state where most homes have minimal cold weather insulation. 30 million people affected. This isn't theory. This is documented purchasing data from a real crisis. Kerosene. Gone from shelves within hours of the first rolling blackouts. Pipe repair supplies. Gone by midday. Generator fuel. Gone by evening. Experienced ranchers arrived at Tractor Supply within hours of the first grid failures. They knew the sequence. Suburban transplants arrived a full day later to empty shelves. They didn't. PVC pipe and fittings became the dividing line between households that restored water in days versus those that waited weeks for plumbers. Stock tank heaters, a product most non-rural buyers have never heard of, kept water liquid while neighbors' pipes froze and burst. The documented vanishing order from that single event matches military logistics scarcity projections almost perfectly. Every item from this point forward was validated by that single event. Item 8. PVC pipe and fittings, agricultural grade, PVC, half-inch to 4-inch diameters, elbows, T-joints, couplings, cement and primer. This is emergency plumbing infrastructure, and it's sitting in the farm supply aisle, priced for contractors, not consumers. During the Texas freeze, burst pipes created more sustained household damage than the power outage itself. Power came back in days. Plumbing took weeks to repair because every plumber in the state was booked solid and PVC supply was exhausted. Veterans with combat engineer experience recognize PVC as field-expedient construction material. It's not just plumbing, it's irrigation, structural framing for temporary shelters, conduit for protected wiring runs, improvised tool handles. A 10-foot length of 2-inch PVC is a building material with 5 distinct applications. Civilian approach is to call a plumber. Trained approach is to own $30 worth of pipe, fittings, and cement that lets you fix a burst line yourself in under an hour. That $30 investment eliminates a 2-week wait and a $500 emergency service call. Running total, $281 to $364. Item 9. Hose clamps and rubber hose stock. Plumbing and vehicle cooling system failures spike in crisis conditions. Extreme temperatures stress hose connections. Debris impacts crack lines. Deferred maintenance fails at the worst moment. Military wheeled vehicle mechanics carry hose clamps as standard field repair items because they know this. A multi-pack of stainless steel hose clamps costs $3 to $5. A 10-foot section of rubber hose stock costs under $15. Together, they enable dozens of repairs across water lines, fuel lines, radiator hoses, and improvised plumbing connections. Most people don't think about hose clamps until something is spraying fluid. By then, the hardware store is either closed, sold out, or 20 miles of debris-covered road away. A $2 clamp and 6 inches of hose stock can keep your vehicle running, your water lines intact, or your generator fuel system sealed. Running total: $299 to $384. Item 10, calcium hypochlorite pool shock. Pay attention to this one. This is the single highest information asymmetry item on this entire list, meaning the gap between what most people know and what this product actually does is wider here than anywhere else. Calcium hypochlorite is the military standard field water purification chemical, referenced in FM 4-25.12. 1 pound treats approximately 10,000 gallons of water. Read that again. 1 pound, 10,000 gallons. Most civilians stockpile liquid bleach for water purification. Here's what they don't know. Liquid sodium hypochlorite degrades. It loses roughly half its potency within 6 months of manufacture. That bottle of bleach in your laundry room right now is already weaker than the day you bought it. In 12 months, it's nearly useless for reliable water purification. Granular calcium hypochlorite doesn't have this problem. Sealed in a dry container, it maintains potency for years. You dissolve a small amount in water to create a fresh chlorine solution on demand. Fresh, full strength, every time. A 1 pound bag costs $4 to $8 at Tractor Supply. It's sold as Pool Shock in the seasonal section, 10,000 gallons of purified water for under $8. Compare that to buying bottled water at roughly $1 per gallon. The math isn't even close. The reason this sits on the shelf during a crisis is simple. Nobody who hasn't been trained on it knows what it does. The label says Pool Shock. The function is water purification. Most people walk right past it looking for something that says emergency or survival on the packaging. 1 bag, under $8, 10,000 gallons. More purification capacity than most preppers accumulate in years of buying liquid bleach. Running total: $303 to $392. Item 11, livestock electrolyte powder. Remember the $10 livestock product from the beginning of this video? This is one of them. Veterinary electrolyte formulas contain sodium chloride, potassium chloride, and dextrose. Those are the same active compounds in the World Health Organization oral rehydration salt formula. The ratios are close enough for emergency use. The packaging is different. The chemistry is nearly identical. A 5 pound bag of livestock electrolyte powder at Tractor Supply costs $8 to $12. It produces hundreds of individual servings. Walk into any convenience store right now and price a single 20-ounce sports drink. $1.50 to $2. 12 bottles costs you roughly $20 and gives you 12 servings. The 5 pound livestock bag gives you hundreds of servings for less money. Military medics, MOS 68W, combat medics recognize electrolyte replacement as the single highest impact medical intervention for non-traumatic casualties in austere environments. Dehydration, heat exhaustion, diarrheal illness, and physical overexertion all respond to the same treatment: fluid and electrolyte replacement. A 5 pound bag handles all of those scenarios for an entire family for